The Wii Sports series is one of the most beloved Nintendo franchises of all time. The original was loved for its simplicity and addictive gameplay loop, while the sequel was loved for innovating the formula, almost tripling the amount of sports, and adding hours of playtime with its skill rating and stamp system. Even Wii Sports Club, the HD remake of the original, is loved for improving both the visuals and controls of the original 5 sports. But after the release of the HD remake in 2013, the series went silent, most likely due to the fact that the motion control fad of the Wii had long died out. Many fans, however, continue to play these games and hoped for another entry on the Nintendo Switch. And to so many people's surprise, during a Nintendo Direct in February of last year, we saw the announcement of a new entry in the Wii Sports series. Nintendo is finally coming back to one of the most beloved franchises ever, this time under a new name: Nintendo Switch Sport. What is that? When Nintendo Switch Sports was announced, I was cautiously excited. From the trailer, the game looked really fun. Sure, it was a shame that we wouldn't be returning to Woohoo Island, but hopefully this new place, Spoko Square, would be just as full of life and hold lots of fun to uncover secrets just like Woohoo Island did. The only thing I wasn't too excited about was how the game was only launching with 6 sports, with others like golf coming later. This is a big issue Nintendo sports titles have been having for the last couple years, and I really wasn't too happy about this game following that release strategy as well. But after a short wait of only 2 months from its initial announcement, Nintendo Switch Sports released worldwide on April 29th, 2022. Now before I criticize this game and explain why I think it fails as a Wii Sports game, I want to first look at it simply as its own thing, completely separate from the series it's a part of, and just look at the sports themselves. There are 7 sports to choose from in the game, those 7 being tennis, chambara, soccer, volleyball, badminton, bowling, and the recently added golf. Kicking things off with tennis, it is incredible in this game. I was never really a fan of it in the original, but with the improved motion controls of the Joy-Cons, swinging and hitting the ball has never felt more responsive. Even when playing online, a place where Nintendo has famously struggled with input delay issues. Tennis overall feels incredible and is a lot of fun to play in short bursts. Chambara, or what it was previously called, sword fighting, was one of the most anticipated sports of the entire game. And while I don't think it lives up to its previous iteration, which I'll elaborate more on later, the sport is fun. The inclusion of 3 different sword types allows for many different playstyles and strategies. The regular sword is great for offensive players doing lots of knockback. The charge sword is perfect for people who play defensively, with its counterattack and charge strike you can perform after blocking hits for long enough. And the twin sword is great for both styles, offering a strong spin attack after its meter fills up. Oh yeah, and if you play offline against CPUs, you can fight Matt if you input the right combination before the match, and he's just as difficult as he used to be. Soccer is an interesting one. It feels extremely out of place compared to any other sport in the game. Every other sport featured here is almost exclusively played with motion, while the majority of soccer is based around using actual buttons on the controller. You have to use the control stick to move, A button to jump, ZR to dash, and really only use motion to kick the ball. The shootout mode this sport has, which I haven't been able to play because I don't have the leg strap accessory, looks fun, but that's just a side mode. The actual sport itself is pretty boring in comparison. It's slow, janky, and really doesn't fit in at all in this game with its over-reliance on anything but motion controls. Volleyball, on the other hand, is a very welcome addition to the series. The timing aspect of it is incredibly fun to improve at, and the pace of the sport is not nearly as slow as I thought it would be. Setting up shots with your teammate, trying to perfectly time every move so that you can spike the ball as hard as you can, or trying to line up where you think the opponents are going to send the ball is surprisingly fun. This sport is not one I would play for more than a couple rounds at a time, but overall controls and plays really well. Moving on to badminton, it's alright. It's just that the sport is way too similar to tennis. I mean, if the game launched with like 12 sports or something, I would be perfectly fine with having one of the sports be similar to another. But this game only launched with 6. It feels like such a wasted opportunity for Nintendo to not switch badminton with something more distinct to make each of the sports on release stand out. Gameplay wise though, the sport functions fine. I mean, it can feel a little slow at times, but that's just badminton. There really isn't anything they could do about that. The drop shot is fun to try and perform at the correct time, and the swinging is just as responsive as tennis, but at that point, I'd rather just play tennis instead. And for the last of the sports that came on release day, we have the one, the only, bowling. Back in my Wii Sports Resort video, which you can check out here, I said that bowling felt a little better in that game than it does in this one. And if I hadn't finally realized my Joy-Con's motion detection was broken when I went back to this game for this video, I probably would have said that again. But after playing this sport with my left Joy-Con, I pretty quickly realized that something was very wrong with my right one. Bowling in this game feels fantastic. I can now confidently say that Nintendo Switch Sports has the best feeling bowling in the series. Curving the ball is incredibly responsive, hitting the pins feels amazing, and the online survival bowling was a great way to translate the sport online. Along with this, bowling is one of the only sports in the game to feature a separate mode. This separate mode being the Special Mode, which sees the player avoiding a variety of different obstacles on the lane while they bowl and try to get the highest score they can on its various difficulties. It really was a shame to not see more side modes for this sport though, and just the game in general. But just like with Chambara, I'll get into that a little later. Golf is the first and only sport added after this game's release at the time of recording this video. There is also no official announcement of any others being added anytime in the future, so I think it's safe to say the game is probably not receiving any more for the time being. With that in mind though, golf is amazing. This sport is incredibly responsive, even to the point where I had a hard time getting used to how precise it was. This iteration of golf features 21 holes, all from previous Wii Sports games. And seeing these classic courses remade in HD was such a joy. The only sad thing about these courses being remade was that Woohoo Island was removed from the background of all courses from Resort, which really dampens any and all hope we have of ever seeing that island again. On a brighter note though, playing online for golf was actually a lot of fun. Just like bowling, they added a survival golf mode for online play, which sees every player playing at the same time, with the winner being the one who gets the ball in the hole in the least amount of swings. When I played this online, I was awful. I didn't get par on a single course and was constantly getting double and sometimes even triple bogeys, which to my understanding is one of the worst scores you can get in golf. But somehow, I won the entire thing, by a very significant margin as well. I don't know if I'm not understanding my score correctly, or if I was in the craziest mid-off of my life, but I managed to win. Leave a comment if you know, I guess. Overall, golf is definitely one of my favorites in the game. The accuracy of the swings and their turning courses make it a very fun/nostalgic time. And now with all the sports covered, the most positive part of this entire video, I think now is a perfect time to get into the negative aspects of this game. More specifically, why it fails as a Wii Sports game. First off, we have the Miis, an absolute staple of the Wii Sports series. It was so fun to create a Mii of yourself, a friend, or family member, and plop them in the world of Wii Sports. Seeing them golf, bowl, box, sword fight, and canoe added so much charm to the experience. Their simplistic, goofy natures fit the games perfectly. The sportsmates, however, are kinda lifeless. I mean, they aren't awful looking, they're just kinda there. And I wouldn't care all too much about them if it weren't for the fact that they're almost required if you want to take full advantage of the customization in Switch Sports. Going into the game on release day, I was pretty dead set on using my Peter Griffin Mii throughout my entire time with the game. I unlocked my first cosmetic, which was an outfit, and put it on Peter without a problem. However, once I unlocked a hat, I learned that only sportsmates could wear facial accessories. So if I wanted to say, make use of 75% of the customization options, I was going to need to switch to a sportsmate. Which was really annoying to me and a lot of people, as what made these games so fun was being able to play as my goofy little Mii characters like Peter Griffin. I can understand Nintendo pushing for these sportsmates as an alternate character option for those who don't like the Miis, but limiting the Miis to only one of the 4 customization options really diminishes any reason to play as them. I mean, I see all these people with these cool ass facial cosmetics while I'm stuck here only wearing my red tracksuit. Come on Nintendo, just let me put cat ears on Peter Griffin! While on the topic of the cosmetics though, I think they're amazing and really help those who enjoy using the sportsmates have their characters stand out more as the base customization for them is pretty limited. But the only way you can earn these cosmetics is by playing online. Hell, the only way to get anything progression-wise out of this game is to play online, which is the exact opposite thing this series is known for. Just look at the original Wii Sports. Every time you completed a round of one of the sports, your ranking would go up or down, depending on how well you did, with tennis, baseball, and boxing having you go up against stronger opponents the higher your rating got. In Switch Sports, however, there is no offline rating system. If you're playing a game like tennis or Chambara that sees you facing off against an opponent, you just choose one of 3 difficulties, which is really lame. My absolute favorite part of Wii Sports Resort was trying to climb to the top of the ranking of a sport and challenge each one's respective champion. In Switch Sports though, the only way to climb the ranks is online, through its Pro League. And while that's amazing for online, there absolutely should have been an equivalent for offline play. Especially due to the fact that playing Switch Sports Online requires a paid subscription on top of the price you already paid for the base game. On top of the fact that there is no offline ranking system, there are barely any side modes for the sports, making it so the only thing you could do offline is just play the base sports and that's it. Even returning sports like bowling and Chambara that famously have had some of the best side modes in Wii Sports history feature no additional content other than bowling having the special mode with the obstacles on the lane. Bowling could have brought back the 100 pin mode, Chambara could have brought back Speed Slice and Showdown. Showdown was my absolute favorite mode to play in Wii Sports Resort when I wasn't grinding to be the champion of the other sports. You get to explore all these different places of Woohoo Island, all while destroying any enemy in your path. It was pure and simple fun. Imagine being able to explore Spoko Square with this mode. You would get to see it at various different locations, times of day, and maybe even seasons. It would be so much fun. The inclusion of the new sword types would add so much strategy to this mode as well. It's such a missed opportunity. Sports like badminton and tennis could have had training modes like from the original Wii Sports, which would see you trying to keep a rally for as long as possible, or try to hit the ball or birdie in a certain area of the court. The lack of side modes really makes it impossible for me to say this game features the best versions of Chambara and bowling because there is so much missing content. Sure, these are the most responsive and accurate version of these sports, but some of the most important things that made them so addictive and charming in the first place are missing. The Wii Sports series has always had a distinct art style, one that fit really well with the simplicity of the Miis. Even Wii Sports Club kept the style of the originals when bringing the series into HD. This art style has always been a huge part of the game's charm, but in Nintendo Switch Sports, pretty much all of the series' charm is lost, and not just in the art style either. Just look at bowling. Everyone remembers the little goofy spin the Miis in the background did when you threw the ball backwards? It was iconic, it was funny, it was charming. In Nintendo Switch Sports though, you can't even throw the ball backwards in the first place. The little Easter eggs and gags that the original and Resort were full of are just gone in this game, and overall makes the world of this place feel lifeless. Then there's Spoko Square. I was actually optimistic for this place. I mean, I would have loved to see Woohoo Island return, but this place had potential. From the trailers, the backgrounds looked extremely detailed and lively. I imagined we'd be able to explore it and find little secrets and collectibles all about while we walked to the different sports. Maybe even if you were online, you'd see players spread all around with little messages and art like in the Splatoon Hub worlds. Something like this could really have brought the place to life. But alas, we got nothing. Just a simple menu. And despite Spoko Square being extremely detailed and lively, we only get to see bits of it in the background. I mean, why even make backgrounds that detailed in the first place if you won't let us explore them? Anything you saw in Wii Sports Resort was something you could cycle or fly to. The exploration of that game is what brought Woohoo Island to life. Spoko Square could have been so much more. But I mean, why even bother creating this brand new place if you're going to do nothing with it? Everything about Nintendo Switch Sports just feels bare bones. It does the absolute least it possibly can to try to qualify as a Wii Sports game. Even the most basic entry in the series, the original Wii Sports, has more depth than Nintendo Switch Sports with its training modes and skill rating system. Switch Sports really disappointed me. The Wii Sports series, as stated in the intro, is an incredibly beloved series, but it seems like Nintendo had no care for its legacy and impact when they made this game. I hope by watching this video, even if you don't agree with me on some of the things I've said, that you can at least understand why many people like myself find the game disappointing and flawed. I wouldn't really care all too much about Switch Sports' flaws if it weren't for how heavily Nintendo marketed and promoted the game as part of the Wii Sports series. So much of the charm the series was known for is lost for seemingly no reason. While the online and gameplay improvements are impressive, the game just falls short in other areas. I mean, they allow Miis to be used, but offer little to no customization of them to try to lure you into using their new sports mates. There's practically nothing to do offline other than challenge the same 3 CPUs over and over. And as a result, the game feels incomplete. It really fails to live up to the other entries in the series. I'm curious to hear what you think though. Do you enjoy Nintendo Switch Sports? Do you think it lives up to the other Wii Sports games? Leave a comment, I read every single one. And on that note, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'm trying to hit 10k before the year ends, and every subscriber helps. I'm extremely grateful for the support recently on not only my new videos, but even my old ones. Videos like my Super Mario 3D World video that initially didn't do all too well are now being visited by you guys, and I could not be happier. With that though, this has been my retrospective / critique of Nintendo Switch Sports. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching till the very end.